What is up, soccer friends? Welcome to the Kickback Committee. We are glad you're here. I'm your host, Susannah Fuller, alongside my fellow committee member, David Goss, and our committee adjacent, very good friend, the one and only Matt Doyle. Welcome, Matt. This whole scene right here is giving me serious 2018 MLS vibes.
Yeah.
And I'm very much here for it.
Yeah, I feel like we're all about to break out in show tunes or something like that. Remembering back to our fond days in the old studio way back on, 37th
studio.
Street?
Yeah. Oh, good times, man.
The good old days. And we didn't know it when we were in them.
Classic Andy Bernard. No one ever tells you when you're in it.
This is going to be so fun. Doyle, we're so glad to have you here. Thanks for coming on. We've got a great show today. We've got some new segments that we're going to try out, including one called Hear Me Out, which is really fun. It's kind of this like wild, slightly too big soccer idea that once you have a couple drinks at the bar, you then have the courage to tell your friends about, and they will then weigh in and tell you if you're crazy or if it is actually a good idea. So that's going to be interesting. Another Canks Abroad. Canks is apparently a thing. Goss, well done.
Thank
well
you.
done for making.
How else would you be able
made
to
Canks
discuss
happen.
both Canadian and Yanks playing abroad?
You
There's
made
no
it.
other logical name.
It's perfect. It makes sense. And we're doing it again today, and I'm really excited about it. This one's going to be great. Three nice things. So I think it's safe to say that, you know, we all have the capability of being haters at some capacity when it comes to certain clubs, certain players, but we are going to basically confront our demons and say three nice things about a club, player, what have you, something that we don't really feel favorable about. So that's going to be a challenge, I think, especially for Doyle.
No, I actually got a good one.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm very excited about
a club
this.
a club that I actually picked to, I guess, win or lose the win spoon at the start of the year. I have nice things to say about
Wow. Okay.
that club. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have that to look forward to. That's coming up in just a bit. But Doyle, since we've got you on, let's touch base on all things MLS right now, shall we? So for people who, you know, maybe fringe observers of the league that we love so dearly, where are we at right now? Love to hate. Love to hate it. Where are we at right now? What are some of the big storylines that people should be following?
I mean, we are in the stretch run, right? We're in the final 8-9 games of the season, maybe even less for some teams. And the big storyline, because I'm a Supporter Shield truther, is that the Supporter Shield race is still wide open. There are like 8 different teams that could plausibly win it this year. I cannot remember the last time there was a Supporter Shield race that was this much of a toss-up. The one caveat I will put on that is that Miami have games in hand, and Messi is mostly healthy, and they have the weakest remaining schedule. They've played the toughest schedule in MLS to this point in the season. They're at about 1.9 points per game, like functionally the same as Cincinnati and San Diego and the other teams at the very top. And they have just like a cream puff schedule remaining. I picked Miami at the start of the year because we all know that Messi's a maniac and he wants to win every single game and every single trophy. And I just cannot bring myself to believe that they're not going to go back-to-back. And those would be the first time an MLS team has won back-to-back shields since the 2011-2012 LA Galaxy.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
I have a confession to make right now. And I feel like you're a good person to kind of just dive into this with it.
Definitely.
So I was having this conversation with Ian actually over the weekend, and like, you know, Messi is back doing
USL League
ridiculous
One Coach of the
things.
Week.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'd like not to brag, but yes, he is Coach of the Week. True story. I was like, why am I not feeling the feelings that I felt when Messi first came into the league? Like it doesn't excite me as much anymore. And I think that that's a problem because I realize this man is not going to be playing forever, and I need to enjoy it while he's here and doing the things that he's doing. But like, I feel a little dead inside right now when it comes to Miami and Messi, and I don't like it. Doyle, what do I do about this?
I don't know if this is a you problem, right? I think this is an us problem, us as an MLS. I'm still gainfully employed by MLS, at least at the start of the show. We'll see by the end. But I think that it's something that the league has struggled with because the Golden Goose came and we really, man, did we really put all our eggs? I'm mixing a lot of metaphors here. I feel like weeby, but like we've really sort of flogged it.
Bird dog situation.
We really leaned into it, and I think actually kind of to the detriment of the way we cover the entire league. There just aren't like the other stories have kind of gotten overshadowed for 2 years, and I've tried to push against that. My column, and I don't know if you guys remember, I used to have a podcast. Tried to push against that,
You did?
but like it's nobody really paid attention. But like there was only so much you can do, and look, you don't have to look far to see like real fans of the league calling it messy league soccer from the way it's presented, and I think that that balance has not really been struck by the people who needed to strike it.
I would also throw out there, I think, I get what you're saying, Suze, which is like it was destination viewing. And it has wavered from destination viewing. And I don't even know if it's just an MLS problem because look at the Club World Cup, right? FIFA put him front and center. And so it's like, I don't know if
him and Gianni Infantino. Like, I still can't get over the fact that the most hated man in soccer, they were like, let's make this guy the face of this thing. That'll move product. Gianni Infantino.
There are some social videos out there that are wild, including one where he was doing this like fake interview on an iPad. And they were like, what recommendations do you have to do in the host cities, not during games? And he's like, stream the other games on DAZN. And it's like, you couldn't even write a real answer for this. You said just a corporate talking point that no one cares about. So I think all of that like has led to us oversaturated with it. And I think it takes away also then of like, you don't know when he's going to play all the time. And Doyle's right. Like Messi wants to play, but his ability to play is taken away as often because it's like, well, is he going to play in Leagues Cup or Open Cup or CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying this week? And it's like, which one do I tune into? Which one is he actually going to be at? When's he going to be there? And so I think all of it has led to like some of that buzz and juice coming away, which was like that opening year. It was like everyone knew that a Messi game was coming on this date and everyone was going to tune in for it. And everyone was on socials buzzing about it and all that type of stuff. And I think a lot of that has wavered and there's fatigue with the extent of it. And then I think the biggest story to me would be there was no advantage taken. And so it's like the league hasn't taken steps forward in the time he's been here. And so it's still like, how good can Messi be to carry a roster that can't spend that much money against another roster that has spent a medium amount of money? Like that was the interest story in the beginning, and it has stayed there rather than grown by being like, can other teams go out and get these stars and move the league forward?
How much would it move the needle for MLS if Miami go on this run and end up winning Supporters Shield, go on a playoff run, end up winning MLS Cup, Doyle?
I mean, I think there would be interest, like anytime Messi is on TV, there is interest. And I think the numbers actually do still show that. But the real question is about the ancillary stuff around it. Can the independent journalists get access to tell good stories about it? Can we do a good enough job internally contextualizing it historically? And until these questions are answered resoundingly in the affirmative, they are going to be open questions, and that's just the way it is in this business.
I promise that us at Kickback and SoccerWise will do nothing to assist any of that process, and we will be here every single day.
You guys would turn down an interview with Messi, no doubt. You'd be like, no, we have bigger fish to fry.
I'm good.
I would ask if Ben Kramaski is so busy that he can't step away from his schedule to talk to us, and we have to fall back with the owner of Moss Plus, one of our favorite energy drinks ever, Lionel Messi. But, I would accept it.
Wow. Okay, so Doyle, if you had to, Cincinnati are sitting on top of the Shield standings right now.
Yeah, it's actually San Diego.
Or San Diego. Cincinnati's top of the East.
Yeah.
Between Miami, Cincinnati, we'll throw San Diego in there. Who would you say is most equipped and built to actually win the Shield?
I mean, it's got to be Miami.
Yeah.
It just because like I said, he's 38, but he's still a psychopath, and he's still the best player in the league, and arguably the best player in the world still. I'm not going to be stupid and pick against him, but either any of those three teams could win. I mean, LAFC could win out, and then LAFC is in it. Philly is still in it. They're 1 point behind San Diego and Cincinnati. Columbus, Nashville have fallen off the pace a little bit, but any of these teams is good enough to win 6 games in a row. And if you do that, then you're putting pressure on anybody, and maybe you're hoisting that dinner plate at the end of the year. And to me, that is still the most important domestic trophy is the Supporters Shield, because I cover MLS from the middle of February until the very end of the year, and there's nothing I respect more than teams that come out every single match day and put it all out there and really go for it. No days off, and so winning that at the end of the year, to me, that is the team that is the best team in MLS.
Say it louder, Doyle. Say it louder. In fact, this is a perfect transition because I want you to stay up on your soapbox right now for our next segment. We're trying it out. Hear me out, guys. All right. So this is, again, I said at the top of the show, but this is basically your kind of far out there soccer idea, maybe a way to improve soccer in the U.S., but kind of a hot take, but one that you have to have a few drinks to tell people.
I would like to throw out, because I forgot this until we started this, that we actually have done this segment once. The person, Peter Wilt, stuck to his guns. He drank 2 beers during the show.
That man talked so, I loved him. He was full of incredible information, but
the whole show was a hear me out. The whole show was a hear me out. But his main point was there should be, I think, a democratic process inside of U.S. soccer to vote on, or some representative system to vote on ideas. I think that's where he brought up a women's Open Cup and flipping the schedule and some youth development stuff that everyone who likes soccer should be able to vote into to affect the way U.S. soccer is run. I'm pretty sure that's where we landed after 51 minutes of that conversation.
Is this a bicameral House situation or unicameral? And is there judicial review?
I am not entirely sure. I think the Articles of Confederation that it's built on already exists.
So it really is state by state then.
We'll be having a Continental Congress. Okay. Yeah, we'll be having a Continental Congress to decide. At that point, we'd already talked about a soccer game that happened in 1866, so we were already deep in it.
Yeah, that was a journey, man. Peter Wilt, he is an encyclopedia. Oh my goodness, total legend. But so are you, Doyle. So we're gonna turn it over to you for your edition of Hear Me Out and your wild out there idea to either improve things or shake things up a bit.
Well, I like this because I'm on the show with you, and I know that you know how to yes and. So let me ask you this, Susannah. You talked about that you've lost a little juice for the messy games in particular, but maybe for MLS overall. Have you also experienced that with the U.S. men's national team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes.
Yeah. And have you thought about a way to get that back, but not come up with anything particularly good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does it come down to the fact that maybe there's been this civil war within the fan base for about a decade now, maybe even a little bit longer?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot, and thinking about these upcoming friendlies. There's 2 in September. There's 2 more in October, and then 2 more in November to see out the year. And I don't think the November ones are scheduled yet. or the opponents are scheduled yet, but I don't really care. I just have almost zero interest in it, and I don't get excited about it until the day of the game, and then I watch the game, and I usually enjoy the game, and then afterwards I go back to not caring as much as I used to, and it really bums me out. And I think that in order to clear the air and set things back to zero and actually generate interest and camaraderie and good fellowship, both in the fan base and maybe even in the roster, we need to replace one of these friendlies, hear me out, with the U.S. men's national team, Europe-based players versus the U.S. men's national team, MLS and Liga MX-based players.
Wow.
I would be 1,000 times more into watching that than Colombia, Japan, South Korea, Mexico. I don't care who. This is the only friendly I want to see from the U.S. men's national.
Who do we need to get on the phone? Seriously, I want this to happen. This is so juicy.
This is genius.
It's
great.
brilliant.
You know, I've had a few months to think. You know, I haven't been doing any podcasts.
You've been waiting for this one. We gave you your moment. We gave you the opening. The thing is that you're right. It solves a lot of the internal debate that has been happening in and around this U.S. men's national team, and the value of going to play abroad. But do we have enough talent playing here domestically? And okay, well, let's showcase it. Let's see how this all weighs out.
Who does Mauricio Pochettino coach?
So I think maybe he picks one coach for each team,
Got
and he
it.
just sits up there, in the suite overseeing the whole thing.
I bet you, based off his reaction to the Gold Cup and the way he was emotional in the locker room after, that if he had to choose, he would choose the North American-based team.
You think so?
Yeah, that's just a guess. I've never spoken to him, so I
just had something come to me. Hear me out. I had something come to me for the coaches. All right, so Poch is the overseer, right? He can't actually coach one team or the other. That would be unfair.
I think I have an idea.
I think David knows where I'm going with this. The
Say
coach for the MLS and Liga MX-based team is Greg Berhalter. And the coach for the Europe-based team is Jurgen Klinsmann. Just get it all out there. Get it all over with. 90 minutes, blood on the tracks, and it's over, and we can all go back to feeling good about this team again.
What's wild is I didn't know that Jurgen was the name you were going to say because there are multiple options. We could have said Claudio. I was thinking Jesse Marsch, even though he's gainfully employed right now.
That would have been a great one.
Douglas is in the chat saying, bring back BJ Callahan. You could go in so many directions with all of this, and I absolutely love it. I'm here for it.
Wow, it's so good, Doyle. Bravo.
Yeah.
Thanks,
guys.
It's actually brilliant. That's going to be a tough one to follow up, Gus, but I'm going to make you try
I'm bad.
anyway.
Mine's not very good. I have said this before. I will say it again. And this is a ridiculous idea that I'm throwing out there. But I believe that we should build like 6 Clairefontaines in 6 cities. And all of the money that is spent from a large up top federation point of view on youth development should be geared towards Miami, Dallas, LA, New York, and Chicago. And that's it. Now, that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be youth soccer and all these programs, and that MLS teams and USL teams and NWSL teams shouldn't have fully fleshed out academies. They should. But in terms of what is the top-down, what you can control federation doing, they should turn each one of those cities into the American version of Lisbon or Rio de Janeiro, where there is a million places to play, and every kid is growing up with a soccer ball, and every kid is challenging itself, and you are choosing, because of statistics, because of numbers, these high density areas where you can get and affect the most amount of players who can then grow up playing against each other and being challenged in that way. And you have to, at some point, give up on, we're going to make soccer the easiest accessible from that point of view across the country. And we are going to hyper focus on these 5 or 6 cities that we're going to turn into these mega cities of soccer.
Is Knoxville one of them?
They don't need it. One Knox is doing the job in that area.
Knoxes, they are. They're really, really getting it done. Also, we're not that far from Atlanta, so you know,
There you go. That could be one of them.
3 hours. I don't hate it, Gus. I think you know, there's probably cities that would, I don't want to say not benefit from it, but maybe be more excluded than others, and you don't want to overlook talent in those places. But I think,
But it would be
on the
people's
whole-
responsibilities.
On the whole, it's a decent solution.
That's one. That's why you have the Clairefontaine set up, so you have some residency to bring
Yeah.
players in. Two, okay, you live in a city that this is not the case. You go to your local MLS team or USL Academy, and it's their responsibility to develop you
Put the
and grow
onus
the
on
game,
them.
which is what it should be. The last part is this is the roadmap to winning the World Cup soonest, not making the game its best, which those are multiple debates. But this is the roadmap to
What
like,
do you
how
mean
do
we're
we get...
winning it in 2026?
Yeah, no, of course. Well, obviously after the inter squad friendly, the
What's
red
wrong
versus
with
white
you?
game or whatever the hell it's going to be called. It's going to be played in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They're going to wear those penny shirts that the football players wear in spring, and they're just going to flip them over. So after that team wins the World Cup, this is how you, I think, maximize the most talent from these smaller areas, and you put together the best 23 player or 28 player roster.
So we already tried this at the youth level with Bradenton.
No,
right?
but that is putting all of your money in a place no one lives, so there is no casual connection to it. It was, can we fly all these kids there? But the point is, you need to create scenarios where players get to play on their own. And if you juice these areas where there's high density and players can constantly be around other challenging players and play against them and grow, that's where you get this huge golden moment of players coming out of the Lisbon area, right? And Portugal being this like insane youth development, because you can grow up playing against them and playing around coaches and all these things. And one of our issues is we try and cover geography instead of demographics.
So I just fundamentally, I think it's the club's job. I don't think it's the federation's job. I think if you're going to do something, well, first of all, it also creates perverse incentive, right? Because if you're picking the national team here, there's going to be pressure to ignore players who are developed from outside of this Buenos Aires of your mind, and
Yay, baby.
and only pick players who come from the American Clairefontaine. So I don't think
Did the
that
ghost
lends
of
itself-
Johan Cruyff tell you this? That this would be the case?
I just see. I might have my third eye open the whole time.
Got it.
So I think that it creates perverse incentive, and I don't think that. Look, to me, it's culture, coaching, and infrastructure. Those are the three things that you know, the difference between where the U.S. is, which is what, 15th in the world, 25th in the world, somewhere in that range, and the actual top 10 or 12 soccer nations in the world, is that they have those three things. And I think that coaching in particular is something that we are lazy with. I think we outsource it way too often. And I think that there is actually no centralized resource for, I'm talking like the lowest levels, the youngest levels. And I think that is like, we're starting 3 degrees behind everyone that we're supposed to be catching. And I think if the Fed is going to spend the type of money you're talking about, just subsidize coaching classes across the country. Like,
Which is-
that is the
yeah.
number one thing I would go for.
Which is great.
That and mini pitches. Always
Which is-
real estate. You always
yeah.
got to be thinking real estate, Dave.
Which is great. I think having futsal facilities as well. Like there's a million things you could do, but if there is a conversation, which is you assume that the federation is going to make a lot of money at the 2026 World Cup. Like we saw it for the Copa America Centenario, right? This is like how that works. And you're saying you get one program and I want to win a World Cup and that's the goal. And what am I doing next? I think you could take those three things you just said, culture, coaching, and what was the third thing?
Infrastructure.
And you can do them
Building
in micro.
shit.
Yeah, you can do them in micro versions in these cities where you could have an effect where it's like you can't build enough stuff across 50 states, across a continent, and really have like a true effect on enough people. And this is a way to do it. And maybe it becomes a silver bullet, which helps you win a World Cup, which then the trickle of that would be everyone's a soccer fan and there's more people in it. But I fully agree with you. Also, like, I wish there was an endless amount of money to put into it and all of that, but there isn't. And that is resources.
Great job, guys.
C-suite, baby. You got to get to know it. Suze, you better have something good.
Mine is equally as important. It's not spoiler alert, but I think it's really fun. So hear me out. So I live in Knoxville, Tennessee now. I am fully entrenched in SEC college football territory. Like, it is madness. And it's also like, it's really kind of fun. And so I think there should be a shift in supporter culture here to embrace more of a like college game day atmosphere. Just lean into full American, like, college football. It is such an American thing. And I think that oftentimes in American soccer culture, we try to imitate. We're imitating other countries and how they watch and consume sports. And it's like, let's just fully lean into who we are. It's fun. Like, we could get cheerleaders at MLS games. Like, that would be wild and also kind of amazing.
Every team should have a bulldog on the sideline.
Every team should have a pet, like a live animal mascot. Like Jello shots before. I mean, we'll take it back to Jello shots, like the tailgates. Like, I just think that embracing a more like college football atmosphere would be so fun and so American. Like, even like, I love the songs and the chants, but like, it drives me nuts when I hear supporters doing them in like an English accent. It just really, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we just not, like, you don't speak like that. We don't speak like that. I'm from Chicago. Like, I'm like, like, it's, come on. So that's my hear me out. I think we could make this a little more fun and authentic.
I both love it and I hate it at the same time. As someone who has no college football in my blood or system, I hate that part of it. But I like the idea of mixing more of these American sports traditions into the supporters' culture, which is already a mix of like South America, Europe, Mexico, all these other things.
And it's fun, and that's part of it is great, and it's this big old melting pot. But I think that a lot of, like, we often forget like who we are, like it's like we don't have to completely deviate from what we know, what's in us.
What I'll say is that, back in the olden days when I was still a fan and not a guy covering this league, I used to go to Metro Stars games across the two rivers over there in actually three rivers from where I am now in New Jersey, and we used to do an all-day tailgate before the games. And one of the things that struck me about it that was so great was that it was that melting pot. It was very much a college, Northeast, so it's more of like an NFL kind of culture than college football, but still mixed with, there were the lads from Ireland and England who were coming out from Manhattan to enjoy the spectacle of soccer, and then there were real hardcore Latin American supporters of that team. Guys I met from Uruguay and obviously Colombia, Mexico, and it did become, in good old Section 101 back in the day, it did become that sort of wonderful melange of sort of traditional, what we think of as traditional American sporting culture with the aguante from Latin America, and then the piss taking that you get from primarily England and Ireland. I hate to think that we lost that. It's been a long time since I've been in a supporters end, though. So I don't know.
That sounds amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time, and I'm still friends with a lot of people from that era.
I feel like there has to be one team that is like the epitome of this, aka like there should be a team in Tuscaloosa or Athens or whatever that's like, we're just going to literally be a college football soccer team.
One Knox should do that.
Does Does anyone have the ear of One Knox? Does anyone have the connection? Like, there should be boat gating going to One Knox games.
This is what I'm saying. Like, it would be so, and also it's a great way to like get new fans, people that pay attention, like here,
I think in
college football is everything.
Yeah, I think in particular, it's the tailgating aspect of it that we really need to lean into because, going back to my days in Giant Stadium in the parking lot, like the barbecues, the variety of foods that you would get in the 6 to 8 hours that you're drinking an entire bottle of tequila before you go into the game. It was spectacular. It was the first time I ever had Brazilian food was in the parking lot of Giant Stadium, a week after I moved to New York. Like the stuff like that is good for the soul and it's good for the sport here. And therefore I believe it's good for the United States of America. Damn it.
But it is not good for your cholesterol when we're talking Brazilian food.
No, it is not.
Once a week we can indulge.
Okay.
Everything in moderation.
Fair.
That's what they say. No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that like there are glimpses of that, but like it would just be, I think it would make it fun, and it would be just very authentically American.
I agree that anybody chanting in an English accent, if you're not English, should have like at least a year-long ban from every soccer stadium in North America.
And
sorry,
if
mate.
they are actually English, how long is the ban then?
Come on, we don't exclude people, David.
We don't.
We're not that type.
I will invite you all down though for my opening game for Baton Rouge Tigers, which is going to be my USLW team that I start.
I'm pretty sure if you try to have a Tigers nickname in Baton Rouge, you will get sued so quickly and so comprehensively. So
the governor of Louisiana shows up to my front door with a bunch of people.
Survive. Yeah, there will be a hanging for a civil suit. Like that's how seriously it will go for you, David. So think of a new nickname.
Don't do it, Gus. We want you to live. We want you to live. All right, guys, let's keep it. We'll keep it in the U.S. and we're gonna chat on some Canks Abroad. Every time I say Cank, I think of Cankle, and it's a brilliant phrase, Gus. I have to give it to you.
I appreciate that because your other option is Canyucks.
No.
Which I think is worse.
No. Hard pass on that one. So Canks Abroad it is. But at the start of the European seasons are mostly underway. I think Bundesliga and Serie A both kick off this weekend. And it was actually a decent weekend for some of our countrymen abroad. Christian Pulisic scored for AC Milan in a 2-0 win over Bari in Coppa Italia. Josh Sargeant. What's that? What?
Well rested.
Well, listen, he just needed some time.
You got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do, man. Josh Sargeant, though, is one that I want to chat about because he scored again for Norwich in a 2-1 win over Portsmouth. He has now scored 2 goals in 2 matches. And there is so much upside to Josh Sargeant if, and only if, Doyle, the boy can stay healthy. Right? So that's been the big issue because I think he has proven that he's a goal scorer. He can do that. He is an effective number 9. But how confident are you in his ability to stay healthy and ultimately maybe, find his spot for 2026?
I still think he's the most talented number 9 in the pool. And it is mind-blowing that he has not scored for the U.S. national team since 2019. It's literally been 6 years since he put the ball in the back of the net. Now, part of that is health, right? He hasn't played a ton over the past, but he has played, and he has gotten the same types of chances that Ricardo Pepi, Jesus Ferreira, Flo Balogun, who's not exactly lighting it up and not exactly a paradigm of health himself. These guys have all put the ball in the back of the net. I would still call him in, absolutely, if I were running the show for these September friendlies. I am mildly concerned that Mauricio Pochettino has already shut the book on him. I'm also concerned that he's going to stay in the championship. And like he's shown there the past 3 years that he's one of the best strikers in that league. I'm hoping that he gets a move, not to the Premier League, because like I'm sorry, I'm tired of the way almost every Premier League game looks the same now. Everybody's trying for pitch control and everybody's trying to do the same, rest defense so that you cycle the. Anyway, I'm getting too far down the rabbit hole. I would rather see him go either back to the Bundesliga where he started his pro career or to Serie A. And it's wild given that Serie A's reputation has been so defensive for most of its history. But over the past 10 years, Serie A has become kind of a more open and flowing type of soccer than we see in most of the other top flight leagues. And I think that would do Josh Sargeant some good. Just like get out of the championship, get to a league that plays more real soccer, and prove you can do it there as well. I think it would open some eyes, and hopefully he'll stay healthy and get a chance to prove it at the 2026 World Cup.
Do you feel like, because he plays in the championship, like, do you feel like Pochettino has sort of just a blocker because it's that level, or is it just because he hasn't really been available during the windows when he might have gotten a call up? Like, why do you feel like he maybe has closed the book?
I mean, he said for the Gold Cup, he's like, we didn't call him because it's it's not a rest thing. It's a coaching decision. As for why, I mean, I guess that Sargent's been in 2 camps already, right? And I think I don't remember exactly, but like I think he's been in
Nations
2
League camp. Yeah,
and I think he just must not have impressed. And I can't imagine it would be like, yeah, the championship's a second tier, but we all know it's one of like the 8 best leagues in the world. Like it's not a too low a level or anything. It just must be a coaching decision type of thing, and maybe getting into a new environment, a different style of soccer. Maybe that it like less about the level and more about the way the game is played in that particular league. Maybe that would do enough to open Pochettino's eyes and get Sargeant back in the picture. Or maybe he's going to be on the September roster anyway, which, to be clear, he absolutely should be. Like he's again, I still think he's the most talented number 9 in the pool.
I agree with you. I've been saying the same for a couple of years. I think he's versatile, that he can help other players. Like it's not just, I'm a pure finisher. Obviously the finishing needs to be there. It will be interesting if Aubameyang's playing in the same league, and if one of them is performing at a higher level in that league, and then you start to see the camps get called up, and obviously Aubameyang's a guy that Pochettino has leaned on. So that will be fascinating to watch. But I do think we're in this like territory of Pochettino doesn't have enough time, and he's leaning into like anything he has found, any little spark he like
somebody who's had a big moment. It's like, okay, gonna build around that.
Trust, an emotional moment, a connection, being there, hearing stuff. And so if Sargent's out, I worry that you're out, and it's hard to get back in if you don't change anything. So like him scoring goals at Norwich wasn't enough. So how does it become enough? It seems really, really hard to figure out, but all he can control at this point is scoring every single week. And like at some point you have to bang down the door. You have to assume that can't be ignored with the way the rest of the pool is playing.
What are your U.S. striker power rankings right now? Would you Sargeant at 1?
Yes, because I would have
Sargeant
already.
1.
Yeah,
everybody's at like 4. There's no 1, 2, 3, right? Because Pepe and Balogun have been hurt for so long. Haji Wright, who was part of that Gold Cup, and he plays in the championship, but Haji Wright is more of a left winger. Pat Ajiman, I think he's useful, but I would never have him atop the rankings. And then who are we? Like, there's no clear 1 through 3. Everybody's at a 4. Everybody has the next 8 months to try.
How do we feel about Balogun? Are we like over Balogun, or are we still thinking that maybe perhaps he can be that player that we were so excited about when he made the?
I think it'd be awesome if he stays healthy, but it's not just that. It's like he's got to put the ball in the net again. suddenly stopped doing it last year. Well,
Goals are good.
Goals
Doesn't
are
matter.
good.
If you're a striker, it's kind of important. All right, so I mentioned it before. The Bundesliga kicks off this weekend, and it's going to be a very interesting and telling season, I think, for Malik Tillman, who's going to be featuring for Bayer Leverkusen. He is a guy whose stock, I think, has risen exponentially over the last few months, certainly over his performances this summer. Doyle, how would you define success for Malik Tillman this season in the Bundesliga? What would you like to see him do? Where would you like to see him evolve?
I would love to see him look like a $35 million player. I'm still stunned that that's what Bayer Leverkusen, who are a very smart team.
Yeah.
Like they don't waste money, but like I'm still stunned that he went for that much. I didn't think he was that great for the US at the Gold Cup. Like certainly if you give me a choice between Malik Tillman,
I thought he was good.
I mean, he was tough, right? He had moments where he was tough on the ball and he brought some physicality that team needed, but I don't think he was he doesn't do the stuff on the ball in terms of driving the game forward and opening it up that I would want to see from a $35 million number 10. So I just want to see some of that, some of those special moments, the type that like when Gio Reyna was still a soccer player, he would give to the U.S. all the time, right? Like that's what a $35 million player looks like to me. And I want to see that version of Malik Tillman if he's in there. But I really worry about this move. I'm not at all confident that this is going to end up being the right move for the kid and for the club, to be honest with you.
Is that because of
I don't
the
think he's that
league?
good,
Because
Suze.
you just
I
don't
don't
think
think
he's
he's that good. I think he's like a $6 million player.
Yeah, I think to
Wow.
Doyle's point, I think he was one of the best players at the Gold Cup.
He was.
But I think the question of he's the record signing now in Bayer Leverkusen history. Is he the best player that they've ever bought? And does he do enough things on the field to make him worth that number? And I think to Doyle's point, like he popped in moments at the Gold Cup, but he doesn't dominate the game. And can you spend the most money on a guy who doesn't dominate the game? And obviously the person they're choosing to replace, Florian Wirtz, is a guy who affected every moment of the game and ended up going for an even huger number, which is where this pops up. But I think if he does these things, like if he plays in a way that it looks worthwhile, he automatically becomes the most important player in the U.S. men's national team pool. Because if he's
Really?
capable of driving the game for a club team, and if he does it from a central area, which it seems like he will, then yeah, who else does that for the U.S.? Who drives the game? Pulisic takes players 1v1. No one drives the game. No one instigates. No one
Tyler?
carries the team through tough moments.
Doyle, you're making a face. What is that?
I mean, that was Tyler was afraid to hit a progressive pass all summer.
Yeah.
You know,
I will say he did not look very good against Liverpool at the weekend.
he looked rough on both goals, like behind the play
Yeah.
and a little bit tentative in a way that is not characteristic of Tyler Adams. So I'm hoping we'll get the classic version of him come the September.
What do you
friendlies.
attribute this kind of decline to for Tyler?
Oh, I hope it's just a bad summer. You know, he's coming off of an up and down season in terms of health and in terms of performance for the Gold Cup. And then it wasn't the most organized group around him. So I think that was probably part of it. And then, you know, I'm going to give him a mulligan against Liverpool because it's freaking Liverpool and say, all right, you know, this next week schedule's a little bit softer and hopefully the best version of him returns. But even at his best, he's not a guy who runs the show. You know, he's a counter-pressing maniac and a really good backline shield, but he's not going to orchestrate with the ball on his foot. And that is a tension at the heart of hiring Mauricio Pochettino, is that he wants to play a style of play where you need someone in that position who can orchestrate the game with the ball on his foot.
Someone like a Johnny.
Um,
That takes us down a whole nother road we don't
boy.
have to go down right now.
Well, I'm just looking forward to that MLS versus Europe friendly where we get to see Christian Roldan shine in that role.
God, it's such a good idea. Such a good idea. All right. Well, the segment is called Canks Abroad. So we have to hit on the Canadian side of this to make it all equal and fair. So Goss, any Canadians you want to discuss?
I think we talked a little bit with Mark Anthony Kay, who knows a lot more about all of this than us.
Yes, he does.
And we brought up Ismail Kone, who kicked out of the Marseille team, told to go find a new club publicly by the team in a video, by the coach, like everything. And Mark talked with us a little bit about like the ceiling of the Canadian men's national team group over the next 12 months. And Ismail Kone ability to raise that ceiling. And I think he is a unique piece in that, just how talented he is. But the other name that I'm sort of watching and seeing how do they develop over the next few months is Moise Bombito, who missed the summer because of injury, will miss the start of the year. The reports are that he'll miss that September camp with Canada as well. For what Jesse wants to do, you need a healthy Moise Bombito who can do special things in the open field from the center back position. Again, we're talking about ceiling stuff. And so I think those are the two names that I'm watching where, I mean, yes, you want Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David and Steven Eustachio to be playing well. That's like all key, but the expectation is they'll be there. These are two guys where it's like Moise Bombito from an injury point of view, Kone from, I don't know, a professional job point of view, whatever it ends up being, that if they can elevate themselves and be healthy and be available, that is what pushes this team through to the next level. So Moise Bombito playing for Nice in France will be big to watch. And Ismail Kone right now headed on loan for the season to Sassuolo, I believe it is, in Italy.
All right.
So
Doyle,
that's our
anything
Kanki.
to add on the
How we get
I
there.
love Ismail Kone. I think Ismail Kone is he's both a floor raiser and a ceiling raiser for that team, but only if he's playing. And as Americans, we've seen the effect of having our guys not play has had on the national team, and I hope that our friends in Canada aren't about to suffer the same fate with a guy who, he was sold for $10 million. He's really, really good. Mm-hmm. The type of guy who could maybe actually be the best true central midfielder in the region. But only if he's getting those minutes. So hopefully Sassuolo is
If
is
he
the
was
right landing
American,
spot.
would he be playing for Pochettino?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he'd be starting, right?
Yeah.
I think he would. I think he would be like it would be a 4-3-3, and like probably him and Wes would be the starting number 8s if it was a full strength team.
If only. All right. On that note, time now for 3 nice things.
Speaking of Canada,
I know.
we're very Canada geared on this one.
Speaking of Canada, so who wants to go first for this? Again, the whole concept of this is that we're taking I think in this case, clubs that we aren't necessarily high end, but we are forced to say 3 nice things about them. So who wants to kick us off? Goss?
I can go first because Doyle went first last time, and Doyle did better than me, so then I had to follow him up. So I'm going to hope that this goes better for me this time. For anyone who's watching this in anywhere, by the way, I'm the one on the left. Doyle's the one on the right. That's why I got to wear the hat, just to make sure everyone knows.
Oh, my God.
So I'm going to take Montreal in, speaking of Canada and all of this. They've been a tire fire. It's been hard to be positive about anything about them since preseason. There was like a hot moment right before preseason where we were like, this is basically our Discord running a professional soccer team. Like all of the young players that we thought maybe could, all in one place, giving up money for them, going and getting refurbished designated players and all of that. It's been a while since then. So I will start with this. They have a quaint stadium. I think quaint has a very known entity of how, when it's used and what it means. They have a quaint building. I am appreciative that they always keep my Succession meme folder relevant for the way they choose to run themselves. And I believe that they have really good intentions with the way they choose to facilitate the careers of young players. Those are my 3 nice things. They were all backhanded compliments.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was that for you to...
Pretty tough.
Yeah.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, it looked it.
I will say,
You were Strugs.
games at that quaint stadium, broadcasts look and sound good.
Yeah.
Like, it comes through on the broadcast. When that team is good, those fans are rocking. That is kind of a spectacle. And so I enjoy that as well. And
I enjoy being there. The funniest
Montreal's
part about the stadium,
wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
But
Montreal's
the
great.
funniest part about the city's unreal. The funniest part about the stadium is there is no tunnels. So for players to get in and out of the locker room, they have to walk through the concourse, and the stadium has to be locked down so people can't cross. And it's like the most bizarre thing to watch. That like no one can leave the main stand or come in and out of it. If I remember being at a playoff game and Kai Kamara like forgot his shin guards, and now you've got to like shut it all down so you can go back and come back out, and then they think he's going to leave.
They got to build a bridge like San Jose has. San Jose has
Bridge.
that bridge over
Oh,
the
right.
concourse. Yeah, it's pretty
The
dope.
bridge in Montreal would be bigger than the stadium is the problem. So you can only build up so many places.
That is very unique. Very unique. All right, Doyle, are you ready?
Yeah.
You have 3 nice things.
We're going to stay in Canada,
Ooh.
actually. I teased this at the start of the show. Back in February, I picked Toronto FC to win the Wooden Spoon. And they're not going to do that. And that is not one of the 3 nice things. That is just factual. All right? So they're not so bad that they're going to win the Wooden Spoon. But I've been waiting for a long time for this front office to sort of realize it's not going to work, and that they need to go in a different direction and have some sort of vision. And over the past 4 months, they've shown that. And so the first nice thing I will say is that I really like the Georgi Mihailovic acquisition. Like, they spent a lot of money on him, but he's 26 and he's one of the best playmakers in MLS. He already has 2 assists in 2 games, both of which Toronto got results from. If you spend a lot of money and you get that kind of output immediately from a guy in his prime, that's a good job. That's number one. Number two, we get into roster building minutia here, and I'm so sorry for that. Back in May, when the roster release and the finance release came out from MLS PR, Toronto FC had 0 GAM. And you need to have GAM to build or rebuild a team. And in the subsequent 3.5, almost 4 months, this group is like, they've made a ton of moves to the point where I think they have over $1 million in 2025 GAM, which, remember, you could roll over now. You don't have to spend it all this year. And I think another 200,000 or 300,000 in potential 2026 GAM from the moves that they've made. Like, that's just really good work in terms of giving yourself flexibility to build a real team. And then the third most important one, as far as I'm concerned, is like, they've suddenly realized they can play Canadian kids. And it started earlier this year with Theo Corbianu, who they have on loan. I think they'll probably make that permanent. And then DeAndre Kerr was getting minutes, and they recruited some Norwegian guy who's not very good at soccer over him, and Kerr kept scoring, and the Norwegian guy hasn't. And now that Kerr is healthy again, he's getting minutes and he's scoring goals. And then they realized that Malik Henry was one of the very best players in MLS Next Pro, and they said, oh, hey, that's actually probably meaningful. And he's starting to get minutes, and he has 2 assists in the past 2 weeks. And then they went out and they got Jules Anthony Vilsaint from David's favorite team, Montreal Impact.
And I love Jules Anthony Vilsaint.
Well, he scored a goal on the doorstep this past. Like, suddenly there's this like nice little core of Canadian attackers that they can array around Georgie. And not all these guys are going to be starters, and none of them are probably going to be stars. But these are the types of players that you need to have on your roster in order to compete across multiple competitions across this very long season that we have. And it also looks good when you're trying to recruit local talent into your academy. And that is an area where Toronto have struggled mightily since their inception. And look, all you need to do is look at the Canadian national team and see how many of those guys actually come from Toronto, how few of them actually played in Toronto's academy. So it feels like this summer, a page was turned on who Toronto are as a club, who they're trying to be as a club. And so I, for the first time in a long time, I have a lot of nice things to say about them. And honestly, I hope it works out for them. I think it would be great for MLS. I think it would be great for Canadian soccer. And obviously, it would be great for all of our good friends and David's mortal enemies in Toronto.
Hey, if it means I get to go for stuff, I'm in favor of it. I'll go
You're
eat
a
jerk
Montreal
chicken.
guy.
Yeah, but I'll go
Montreal-
eat jerk chicken in Toronto. I'll survive.
Fair.
Yeah.
Toronto's low key great. Although the two MLS Cups that were there
Too cold.
were, I think, I like the bone chill is just it's.
And
still
you're from
there.
Chicago.
Yeah,
You're from a
it's-
city where the wind hurts your face.
It would. I mean, well, it's the same. It's that same like because it's right on the water and it's just like whoa, like oh my god. So if it wasn't so dang frigid, yeah, I'd be all about it. But that was Doyle. That was thorough and well thought out. And you didn't seem like it seemed like
He was
almost
less
cathartic
clenched
for
than
you.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have to pull it out of me. Like
No.
I like to see teams that are at one point bad figure out how to start being good. It makes me happy.
I'm super impressed. I thought you were going to be like seething in this one, but not at all.
Only good vibes.
Handled
Only
that
good
with
vibes now.
Speaking of
tremendous grace.
seething, Susannah.
And then there's me. Okay, so I have to say three nice things about the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Okay? Okay. So yeah, I don't like this team. I don't like this club at all. There's not much savory to say about it. They're mean to Ian when he's there. They make fun of his hair and his clothes. And I don't like the way they play, and they're kind of dirty and just nasty. And so, yeah, and One Knox has not found a way to beat them yet this year. So that's also why I'm salty. But
Are we getting to the nice things, or
we are
were
getting
those
to
the nice
things.
things?
Yes.
I was going to say, wow.
I
All
need
right.
to give context as to why I am not a fan. Also, Chattanooga, the interstate rival kind of thing. So there's that. Okay, so three nice things about Chattanooga Red Wolves. One, they have a really, really good goalkeeper. He's this young kid. I think he's like 22 years old. Jason Smith. He has the reason that they're sitting at the top of the table right now. He has saved them so many times. Like he just comes up really, really big. I think he has 6 shutouts on the season, but he's very good. He's a very good keeper. At that level, it's hard.
Is Jason Smith a made-up name?
Doesn't it sound like it?
It does sound like. Is this person in the witness protection program?
Maybe he is. I'll do some investigating. So yeah, good keeper. Second nice thing about Chattanooga, they have really good chicken tenders at their stadium.
Okay, that's a big one.
It is, because I love attendee. And they had a fine array of dipping sauces. But an attendee is just like, it's that juicy on the inside and that kind of like light crispiness on the outside. It was nice and like piping hot, fresh out of the fryer. Really good. So good tendies there. And I was really struggling to find a third thing. But the drive from Knoxville to Chattanooga, you get to go by, it's right next to the stadium too. There is an awesome Bass Pro Shop. And so I love a Bass Pro Shop. It's one of the best ones I've ever been to. I am somebody,
What do you buy at a Bass Pro Shop?
Anything, Goss, anything. It's like a mega store for like anything outdoorsy. It's not just like fishing. It's just anything outdoorsy. And they're huge. They're kind of like amusement parks, and I love them. And if I see them, I stop and I go, and I have been to many in this country, and the one in Chattanooga that is like directly across the highway from their stadium is elite. And that is what I have to say about that. And those are my
That is the
three
most
nice
ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But
I told
congrats, you got three nice things.
I found three nice things. Okay, I was really nice about their keeper. What do you want from me?
By the way,
So-
Jason Smith went to Syracuse University, so that's
Did
really
he?
good.
I was about
Okay,
to say.
well-
So no, I don't like him. So
Nice.
you shouldn't have said something nice about Jason Smith. How about
I know. I take it all back.
He's no Andre
Have you been to the Bass Pro Shop in Memphis?
Not in Memphis. I've not made it to Memphis yet.
It's the pyramid. They have a giant pyramid on the shore in Memphis that used to be, I think, where University of Memphis or Memphis State. It used to be a basketball arena.
I just always assumed it was a casino.
No, it used to be a basketball arena. And they
turned it into a Bass Pro Shop? They turned
it into a giant Bass Pro Shop. Yeah.
I have goosebumps all over my body right now, and I am literally ready to get in the car
This is
and
about to road trip.
hightail it to Memphis.
That's your home state, too.
It is my home state.
Go to Beale Street for some music. You get some good barbecue from Neely's.
It's on my list. I've not been yet. And the thing is, though, Tennessee is a very wide state, very long. So I think it's almost like a 6-hour drive from Knoxville to Memphis. But I'm going to do it, and I am 100% going to that Bass Pro Shop. Thank you very much for the tip, because that sounds incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right, guys, our 50 States of Soccer adventure continues this week, and our focus this week is the great state of North Carolina, my neighbor. I'm actually not that far from North Carolina.
Okay. I don't know geography like that.
No, East Tennessee, we're the border's right there. Okay. So I'm only like 65 miles from Asheville, North Carolina.
So we might make you get in a car so you can do a live hit from on the ground reporting.
Twist my arm. I actually love North Carolina. I have a question.
We'll make you go to a brewery in Asheville so that you could do a hit.
Easy. Done. Duh. I love Carolina barbecue, North Carolina barbecue. Love it. And people get very they're like, how can you say it's better than Kansas City barbecue or Texas barbecue, whatever. I love it because I love that very acidic, vinegary, mustardy.
So it's all based off the sauce.
Yes, it's all based off the sauce.
And
but
the pork.
I stand. Yeah, and the pork. Yeah. But I'm a big fan. I don't know if you guys have you had Carolina barbecue?
I have. Yeah, no, I love all barbecue. I don't discriminate.
You don't discriminate.
My favorite barbecue is whichever one is directly in front. I will say I'm probably more of a Texas barbecue guy than anything else, but
Fair.
I if there was a plate of South Carolina style, if there was a plate of North Carolina, I would eat it all and do so happily.
Exactly. So if you want to change that brewery to a barbecue joint.
Okay.
Gus.
Okay. I think all breweries in North Carolina are legally obliged to serve pork ribs.
They have to. They have to have the big smoker outside.
It's just how it is.
And oh my God, Douglas, our producer, he just put in the chat, Cheerwine. Have you guys had Cheerwine?
I don't know that I have.
Oh, okay. So it is this cloyingly sweet. It's almost like it is delicious. It's kind of like a Dr. Peppery sort of thing, but it's just super, super cane sugar, soda.
I'm out.
With a hint of cherry, but
No, I'm in. I like this. I thought it was going to be like ice wine, which those fruit wines.
No.
That's what I thought was coming down the pike.
Nope, not fruit wine. It's like a soda, but it comes in these old timey glass bottles.
Yeah, I'm here for
wine.
all of that.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, you'll get a toothache. It's literally pure sugar, but it's good. And it's good with some barbecue.
I don't need my teeth, so I'm okay with that.
Nah. Okay, so North Carolina is an interesting soccer state because I feel like it's in some ways it's such a hub because of the incredible collegiate programs that are there,
30
right?
Division
UNC,
I NCAA titles.
Duke, Wake Forest, it's an abundance of riches when it comes to collegiate soccer.
It's actually a really hard one to research because we are still trying to figure out okay, what are the parameters of from? And this is one that's going to test us because literally every women's national team player went to UNC.
Right.
And they're like, oh, North Carolina claims them. And it's okay, I understand, but is that where this person is from? Is that where they would claim themselves? And that makes it even harder. Of the 30 NCAA Division I national championships, UNC women have won 22 of them. UNC men have won 2, and then the rest have combined for 6 across the men's and women's programs. So, it shows you where things had stood historically. Obviously, Wake Forest and NC State have gotten better recently. But there's really cool soccer. It also seems like there's a lot of differing cultures between Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham area, and in Asheville and other places. You've got Outer Banks, all of that. Greensboro.
It's my
Seems
family.
to have a really
from
big
there.
youth club.
Yeah, my cousin Ronan grew up playing soccer with Gianluca Busio, and they are literally best friends. And I've told this story before, but when I went down to visit them and went to one of Ronan's soccer games, and Gianluca was on the team, and I think he scored like 9 goals in this game. Like, these poor children were just, I mean, it was just like, he was so far and away, like way more skilled than any of these other kids, and you could see it then. But he's such a sweetheart. But yeah, he and my cousin Ronan are besties, and Ronan's gone over to visit him in Venice, and yeah, it's really cool. So I have a real soft spot in my heart for Gianluca. He's
I
a
didn't
sweet
know
boy.
you were North Carolina soccer royalty adjacent.
Well, now you do. Now you do. Also, I have to point out, if you're watching this, I have on my Queen Charlotte tifo for Charlotte FC. I think this was their first tifo that they ever did in their first season. And there's this amazing store in Charlotte called Glory Days, and they do like kind of like throwbacky type of gear for Charlotte and like the Hornets and all of that. And they made this sweatshirt with the Queen on it, and the guy at the shop was like, "She kind of looks like you," and I was like, "She does." And I was like, "Look at the eyebrow, like in the eyebrows." So yeah, I like to think that this first tifo that Charlotte did was in honor of
I like the bandana.
the bandana's.
You know, like she looks like she's about to get up to some
Oh yeah,
civil disobedience.
Lead
gonna
a
mess-
rebellion.
she's gonna mess some shit up for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's been to Andor.
Definitely. So every week with this 50 States of Soccer, we source out, we ask you guys, best soccer bar, youth club, urban legend, hallowed ground places. And we've started to get some decent responses, Gus.
The 5-a-side for this state's going to be interesting. There's a lot of soccer that has come out of it. There is not the clear high end like Mal Swanson, Sophia Wilson, and Lindsay Heaps on the last state we did, which was very, very obvious. But Eddie Pope, Roy Lassiter are 2 pretty easy ones. And then a lot of really good pros who played long careers across a couple different leagues. I will keep inserting Clyde Sims into every conversation for the next 3 days. And we're talking to some North Carolina royalty. We are going to have one that is going to be co-hosting with us on SoccerWise, covering NWSL tomorrow, that we're going to be announcing later in a very dramatic way. And then we will have our happy hour once again, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube on Thursday.
That's exciting. Can I give a shout out to one of our Blue Sky followers? Zach. It just says Zach in his name, but he was actively participating in this poll and had a ton of very, very useful and good North Carolina nuggets and knowledge. And so we appreciate you, Zach. Thank you.
Big Zach fans.
Big Zach fans. Yeah, this was fun. Doyle, how did you like your first committee experience?
It was good.
Everything you thought it would be?
It really was. I'm bringing boat drinks next time, though. Yeah.
Oh, boaties.
I feel like, next time I want to be a little bit buzzed by the time we're signing off here.
Doyle,
You're going to go full Peter Wilt on us.
Come on.
Doyle and I used to do MLS After Dark together on Twitter. Was it Twitter Spaces? Is that what it was?
It was, yeah.
RIP Twitter Spaces. And this was like kind of like post COVID. No, we were still like doing the whole COVID thing, but I basically shacked up at my parents' lake house in Michigan. And my dad makes these things called boaties. It's boat drinks. And I don't even want to tell you what's in it because it's kind of gross, but like they're also kind of delicious. And it's
like a Michigan Long Island iced tea.
Kind of, yeah. And I'd like pull up to MLS After Dark, and Doyle would be like, "Got your boaty?" And I'm like, "I sure do. Got my boaty." And then we would talk trash. And
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Good times were had. So yeah, I appreciate the boaty reference.
Doyle, you can come on to our, what is the phrase for Thursdays? Mini Fridays? Baby Fridays?
Baby Friday.
We do Baby Friday live happy hours on YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
there are beverages involved.
There are beverages that will be consumed, and we
There
are
welcome you all.
Negronis.
It's a date. I will be there.
Yay! Amazing. Okay, yeah, that happens 5:30 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. So join us live. Hit us up in the comments. We'll answer questions. We'll, just banter. That's what we do here on the committee. But this was so much fun, guys. Great episode. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see y'all next week.